iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaw.
Fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got rhythm, both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up top!
Oh my god! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, here we go!
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
Tonight we're taking the Oval Series, we're taking the Oval cars and we're throwing them onto a road course. Watkins Glen International hosts week 7 of the iRacing XFINITY Series. The Friday night strength of field time slot broadcast live on SimSpeed TV. My name is Ryan Jones, I'm joined by Simon Mazzomo in the commentary box, and behind the scenes is Jay Kennedy making it all around nice and smoothly. So, Watkins Glen International, but not the cup layout that we often associate with NASCAR events. This week we're using the extended boot layout, which does offer up a couple extra corners and maybe a couple extra overtaking opportunities, doesn't it, Simon?
Absolutely. Welcome everyone. But yeah, I'm actually keen to see this one tonight on the boot layout, because yeah, absolutely, a couple of extra passing opportunities and the run down into turn 6 into the chute. That's going to be lots of fun. Everyone trying to sort of make a few moves happen there, so should be an awesome run of racing.
Certainly should be, and good thing to note about these cars too, while they are oval cars at heart, they do handle quite well on a road course relative to what you might expect, so we should still see some good racing tonight. And just having a look at some of the drivers entered, we've got some very talented people. We've got Braden Boulos, who I believe has secured entry to the NASCAR Series. Don't quote me on it. He either just missed it or just made the cut. I should probably confirm that with him at some point. Matt Danson is teammates with him and probably the fastest outright driver in Australia in an oval car. Andrus Silsons, have not seen him before, but he's a European who's come in. He's got the 3rd highest I rating in the room, so it'll be interesting how he goes. And then, of course, Jake Burton's here too, our winner from last week. So we've got some good drivers. We've got some very talented drivers in this field. Should be a good race up ahead for us. We're in qualifying now. 2 laps around this 5.4 kilometer circuit. Only 5 minutes to do it too, so a bit pressed for time.
Yeah, there's only a little bit of time to do this, considering it's at a longer track. So they've got to be able to sort of get the tyres up to temp as quick as they can. At a track length sort of helps that. They've got a bit more of opportunity to get that up to temp. But yeah, with a very short amount of time, can't really hang around too much. They've just got to get in and go. So it'll be interesting to see what times we can sort of get down to and who's actually going to be the fastest. Because I reckon there's a few guys out here, especially the couple of the road people that are coming across to have a go at this. I reckon seeing how they compare against the oval guys, it'll be good to see. But I think probably Jake Burton's going to be the one to look at tonight. He was super strong last round, and given he's always been really, really good at this track, especially in Scops, as we all know, he's won here before, so this is definitely going to be a track that's suited to him.
It definitely will be, but I do think he's going to have a lot more of a challenge on his hands tonight than he did last week, especially with the addition, or because of the addition, of Danson and Boulos to tonight's field. Those are two drivers that turn up consistently to NASCAR leagues in Australia and just dominate the field. So they have a lot of experience on these machines. They're the two highest rated drivers in this field tonight. Jake Burton certainly has to work hard for it. He's working hard through the S's, maybe picking up, or the bus stop, I should say, maybe picking up a bit of an off track there on the exit, and it does appear so. He's slowed that car down, trying to cool off the tires, and set himself up for one more lap. Just under 2 minutes remaining in this session. Still no times have been set. And there is Braden Boulos making his way down the back straightaway on approach to the bus stop. Braking as late as you dare. Get the car to the right, bounce it over the curbs without use up all the track, trying to keep it as far to the left as possible, because you can very easily pick up off track through the exit of that sequence.
Yeah, I did notice his run through the bus stop. That was actually really smooth. He didn't seem to unsettle the car too much. It just floated through there nicely. So definitely got a handle. Obviously, these cars are fixed setup, so you don't really adjust it to the way he wants. But he's obviously got his head around it. He's looking quite smooth, especially coming off this corner. He's just got it nice and straight. Little bit of a tail, a little bit of wag as they came out, but seems to be flowing this car very nicely at the moment, so should be quite an impressive time when he gets it to the line.
And the first time has finally been set in qualifying. And the second time has followed it too. And the third. So Matt Danson goes to provisional pole with a 1 minute 53.1. 1/10 of a second quicker than Martin Turner. Andres Silson sits in third. Michael Schreier in fourth. Braden Boulos now coming around the final corner on the track. The exit from here quite important, as you do head uphill from here to the start-finish line into all the momentum you can get. Braden Boulos is going to come across that line and put down a marker of invalidated lap time. So he actually won't have any. Yeah, the lap time was a 1 minute 56.5. It was quite a way off the pace, in fact. He won't have time to do another lap. And I'm a bit confused, actually, as to why it's only a 5-minute qualifying session. Seems like a little bit of an oversight on the setup of the sessions for the week. So that's our grid with just 5 times set.
That's crazy. Only 5 times. Wow. Okay, this is going to be turned into a real good race.
So, Matt Danson's on pole from Martin Turner second. Andrew Silsons will line up third ahead of Michael Schreier in fourth. Robert Vormwald starts from fifth. Braden Boulos back in sixth. Cameron Dance is seventh. Jake Burton eighth. The top 10 rounded out by Emily Jones and Henry King.
As we move down into P11, Cale Bowden, followed by Richard Larkins 12th, Jamie Llewellyn, apologies for messing that one up, in 13th, Ryan Cole in 14th, and Michael Clark rounding out the 15.
Have to do a formation lap here, of course, to get the rolling start. So still got plenty of time to talk facts and whatnot before we get this underway. Let's firstly take a look at the current track conditions. Air temper 26, which is a track, is a little toasty 39 degrees. No real winds to speak of. And the race distance today, 103 kilometers, 64 miles, and 19 laps in length. Won't be quite long enough to warrant a pit stop fuel-wise, which means the drivers will not be tempted to come down pit lane and get fresh tyres either. So it's going to be all about managing your tyres in this one, getting them up to temp nice and smoothly, and then maintaining that grip level for the entirety of the race, as all the drivers trying to just very casually walk their cars off the line without any wheel spin at all.
Just getting rolling. It's going to be interesting, as you're sort of saying, managing your tyres in this race. For the guys up front, it's going to be really good for them. Obviously, Matt and Martin, they'll get a chance to sort of springboard away from the rest of the field. They can sort of manage their tyres, but I guess the ones to watch, they're going to be further down the field. It's going to be a bit harder for them they're going to have to battle through the field, pass a couple of people, which is obviously going to heat their tyres up a bit more, may chew a bit more rubber off them. So they may struggle later in the race. Depends how hard the competition makes it to get through the field, but definitely something to consider. Yeah, it's going to be tactically, very interesting, especially that, like we're talking about tyre wear and stuff coming up the hill. That's going to have a lot of load on the tyres as well. Choose them out a little bit more. You've got the carousel as well, another spot that'll tend to heat the tyres up a lot more, wear the tyres a lot more. So that whole strategy is going to have to be playing in their minds, and they're going to have to manage this all the way to the end.
And with road course racing as well, it's not quite as simple as it is on oval to conserve your tyres. Whilst on the oval, you just use as little steering input as possible, maybe lift off a little bit into the corners, and just get through there nice and smooth. On a road course, you've really got to turn that wheel a whole heap to get through some of the corners, and there's so many different profiles of all the corners on the track as well. So it's definitely more tricky to get it right on a road course, and you can very easily find yourself using up your tyres without really meaning to. And I just think in terms of this race, Martin Turner is showing some welcome unexpected pace. Only a 10th off Matt Danson. So hopefully he can bring the fight to Danson here. Otherwise, I do fear that he may open up a very quick early gap here, because Andrew Silson's Michael Schreier both over a second off his pole time there on the second row of the grid. Robert Vormald too set a unrepresentative first only lap. And then Braden Boulos, Cameron Dance, Jake Burton, Emily Jones, they're starting from 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. They're the people I would be expecting to challenge Danson today. And maybe Martin Turner too. So going to be interesting here to see how these guys make their way through the field. What are your final thoughts before we get this underway, Simon?
Absolutely. It'd be interesting to see, obviously, colder tyres for the start. So interesting to see how they handle it and how they sort of attack this race from the start. But I think it's going to be interesting. Matt Danson's definitely got the advantage at the moment. I think we're looking at him to see if he can seal it tonight.
Alright then, let's get it underway for the one and only time here. No cautions when we go road course racing on iRacing. So let's see what sort of gap Matt Danson can pull. Who can challenge him here off the start? The field on the hands now of the number 2 machine, and Danson goes early to a fantastic effect. And Braden Boulos, he knew when he was going. They're teammates, and he's already gone to the inside of Michael Schreier into turn number 1, locking the front, says Braden Boulos. Contact behind him too, as straight on goes number 4 of Cameron Dance, using all of the escape road there. And now Boulos is losing more time as he has lost out to Jake Burton, who goes by through the S's, struggling for some tyre grip. Emily Jones right up on the back of Braden Boulos, looking to go around the outside, but you can't go through there. And now she'll also have to sit back, or will she? She gets into the back of Boulos on approach to the bus stop, gives him a shot and pushes him through the braking zone. Boulos does well to hang on to it, is in front. Jake Burton goes to the inside of the number 9 of Michael Schreier, trying to complete the move, and will complete the move. And Braden Boulos now looking to come through as well.
Yeah, super confident on cold tyres is Jake. He's starting to pick his way through the field slowly, but yeah, Brayton sort of really struggling, especially coming up the hill. Just couldn't quite get the power down. Now he's got Emily all over him again. Oh, he's running. Oh, contact.
Oh, and collected as well as Henry King, the number 10. The 9 of Michael Schreier sits facing that wall. Henry King likewise facing the wall as well on the 10 machine. And it all stemmed from Schreier running wide, Emily Jones over around the corner too. And they just made contact. And we'll see here on the Motor Simulation replay on the approach to the right hand as Schreier goes too deep. Emily Jones goes too deep, clips his right rear. Schreier spins, just tags Boulos, and as he spins back, unfortunately Henry King left with nowhere to go in that little kerfluffle, and they will go right to the back of the field. Boulos picks up even more contact in what has been an uncharacteristically scrappy opening lap from him. As it all pans out, Matt Danson leads the race by 9 tenths of a second from Martin Turner. He's coming under pressure from Andrew Silson's in third. Jake Burton has climbed to fourth on the first lap, being followed through by Emily Jones in fifth. Braden Boulos is still where he started in sixth, despite all of that. Richard Watkins is up 5 spots into seventh. Cale Bowden into eighth, and Cale Bowden's going around in the S's, and he's just about going to keep it off the fence, is he? He does. The number 11 now sitting in a very precarious spot, and who was that who just about snuck through? That was Michael Schreier. Did well to not spin himself out. Take a look at this, Simon, as it looks like the mistake started back at turn 1.
Yeah, very big lockup in turn 1, so kind of just missed the apex and just blocked as he went through. It's very far out wide, and he's lost the rear. Yes, just it's very, very tricky on cold tyres through there. The car just wants to slide. He just was off he's way off the apex and just, yeah. We've got another replay as well. Jake Burton. All over. Oh, yep, got the job done on Mark Turner. Very clean pass, very nicely done.
So in just this lap alone, Burton has managed to get by Silsons and Turner and puts himself up into P2, and that happened very quickly. Not even completed the second lap yet, and he now sits just under a second behind Matt Danson, so we could have a fantastic battle on our hands here, as in the background, Emily Jones getting the car right out sideways through the little chute, and again through the penultimate corner, just struggling for a bit of rear grip on that car is Emily right now.
Yeah, it looks to be a little bit, but at the same time, it's so much fun to do that. The cars just, they react with the new tyre model, the ability to sort of hold the car in a slide coming out of the corners, especially in these things. It's so much fun to do. Is it the quickest way? Is it going to help the tyre life later in the race? I guess we'll have to wait and see how Emily goes later on, but definitely seems like she's having a lot of fun out there.
Certainly does. And the gap is 0.98 of a second. Burton, a little bit of a moment there, coming through the S's.
Yeah, he's
and
really hanging them out. Like, so is it just, sorry to cut you off there, but like just watching him sort of like the way he's driving that car at the moment, he's absolutely just, he's got that confidence to just sort of move the car around a little bit. He's just happy to sort of keep the pace going at the moment. So, like I said, it's really good confidence on cold tyres, and now that they're starting to come up to temp, he's probably starting to find a bit more confidence. Oh, sliding it again. So he's got confidence in this car at the moment.
Certainly does, but look how much he's closed up. Jake Burton is putting it to arguably the best, oval driver in Australia, the man who knows this car better than pretty much anyone in this country. It is a road course, but that knowledge is transferable, and you expect him to have similar pace when we get to typical road courses on the NASCAR series. We're watching a replay on screen of Cameron Dance, who's going for a wild ride through the bus stop chicane, and around he goes, and I think he kept it off the fence. Disappearing from view as Jake Burton is now looking to set himself up for a move, sets himself wide for the entry to the final corner, sets himself up for a tight exit, gets the run, trying to get down to the inside of Matt Danson, approach to turn 1. Who is the better of the breakers? It's going to be Jake Burton on the inside. How hard's Danson going to fight? He keeps the car there. He gets the run. Burton just about squeezed him out there. Just enough for him given. Brilliant racing between the two of them. And Jake Burton, from 8th on the grid, goes to the lead on lap 4 of this race.
Yeah, I think Matt tried to fight him through there, tried to sort of see if he can hold the spot as they got to the uphill section, but he probably wisely thought about it and thought, well, there's no point battling now. There's still a lot of the race to go as well, so probably just tuck him behind, see if he can hold onto the back of him. If you can obviously go with him, that'd be really, really good. Can get himself away from the rest of the pack, but yeah, probably better to fight another day than to try and push too hard too early.
Silson's here in 4th place, just starting to put the pressure on to Martin Turner in front of him in that bright green machine. These two themselves aren't too far off Jake Burton and Matt Danson, or Matt Danson at least. They're just in behind him. A little mistake from Danson will put these two right on his rear bumper in good stead to potentially get ahead of him. As Burton's opened up about a 5 or 6 car length advantage, maybe just a little bit more over the course of this lap since getting by him. And there's 6 cars in frame there, all within pretty close proximity. And then 7th place is 12 seconds back, 18 seconds back to 8th. 9th is 36 seconds adrift. And then there's a 3-car scrap, 44 seconds off the lead of the race between Ryan Scholl, Robert Vormwald, and Michael Clark. These guys battling for 10th place on the racetrack. And I believe last of the these are the last 3 runners on track.
Yeah, unfortunately lost 3 drivers in this one. Cale Bowden, Jimmy Llewellyn, and Kyle Dance, as we like to call him. Fortunately, out of this one, but
You like to call him.
Yeah, I do like to call him that. But obviously, we have a few little battle packs starting to form at the moment. I'm sort of watching this one between Braden and Emily at the moment. Like that one's going to start to carry on in a second. Just also trying to keep an eye on times as well between, because they does seem like Emily and Braden are starting to catch up to the pack in front as well. So that might develop into a bit of a train at the moment, a bit of a bigger battle pack. See how that goes. But yeah, obviously we've got a bit of a battle pack going as well. There's actually a move about to happen to turn 1.
It did not happen, but it might still happen, as Robert Scholl's gone a little bit wide through turn 1, will rejoin the track, and Robert Vormwald does not want to take that opportunity to get by him, and he will wait.
Yeah, seem to be tripping over each other a little bit. They're sort of not sure where to go with each other. So yeah, just sort of as they run up to the bus stop now, back into single file. It's even Michael just hanging in the background, just watching these two as they battle at the moment. So maybe trying to take advantage as they start to battle a bit more, maybe give himself an opportunity to get a few spots.
Matt Danson's just pulled out a little bit on Martin Turner and Andrew Slizzens there in 3rd and 4th. And the gap when they come across the line between the leader and Danson is 2.6 seconds. It's 1.1 between Danson and Turner, who's just run a little bit wide through turn 1, and this could allow the number 3 to get a run on him through the S's and uphill. This certainly a bit of a 1-lane piece of racetrack. It's certainly wide enough to go too wide, but if you do, you compromise yourself so dramatically that you'll probably lose out to another car behind by the time you get down to the bus stop.
Exactly. You're going to have a bit of confidence in the person that you're going side by side with. So it's very easy to make a mistake, run a little bit wide, either hit the wall or make contact with the person you're racing with. So you've got to have a bit of faith in the person you're racing. So better to, as you sort of say, just sit in behind and try and get a better run, especially coming from the bus stop, or maybe even try moving the carousel. So sort of see this battle starting to kick off a little bit. Martin Turner is noticing he's starting to have a few issues coming into the corner. Just can't seem to get the car pulled up. He's sliding the car a little bit. Even there, he's just having to really pull the car up to get it turned. Just, yeah, see that Andrus is obviously, yeah, just sitting there waiting for the opportunity to arise where he's going to be able to have a go and make the pass. So Matt just slowly edging that gap out. Jake Burton as well, he just keeps chipping away, he's just pulling that gap out little by little. Obviously got the battle still between Emily, just as Emily grabs the curb a little bit, doesn't seem to have settled too much. Brayton doesn't appear to have a run on him, but a few little tight battle packs still happening. As Emily runs wide, coming out of the second last corner. Brayton's going to get past quite easily there.
Made that all too easy there for Radon Boulos. A little bit perturbed by his lack of pace in this one. Held up, of course, last lap, just a bit by Emily Jones, but still only lapping a 1:55.1 as laps car just come out of the pits there. As Matt Danson and Jake Burton lapping 54.8. They're about 3/10 off them. And in fact, Danson's found a bit of pace in that last lap. He was a 55 last time by as well. So, as this race goes on, basically a bit of a shift in terms of lap times to who's fastest. Maybe Bulos potentially looking after his tyres for a big attack at the end. We'll see whether Jake Burton's had to use up his a bit more than he would ideally have wanted in that early charge from 8th to the lead of the race.
Yeah, starting to get in that bit of the middle period. The tyres are probably not feeling as good, especially if they've still got a fair bit of fuel in the tank. You sort of know with these tyres when you still have a fair bit of fuel in and the temps are a bit up and they're starting to wear. The cars sort of feel a bit doughy in the middle, don't feel as responsive or as nice to drive, but as the fuel burn starts to go down, you start to feel it come back to you. You have a bit more confidence to push harder, so maybe everyone's sort of in that position now where they're just feeling it, just driving as best they can, just waiting for the moment where they can sort of feel the car come back to them and maybe press the attack. So hopefully we'll see Matt maybe even start to chip back into Jake and try and get back at the front, but we've still got Braden who's slowly catching up, so probably still a chance for a podium here as well. So that'd be a good comeback if he can get onto the podium towards the end of this race. Considering how his start was not ideal, come back and get a podium would be a very good result.
Why don't we go on board with Emily Jones here and watch the wheel work that she's having to put in, because she is struggling big time at the moment in that machine. Whether she won't be out of grip, it's only lap 8 of this race, but she's most likely overheated those tyres in her battling. On the entry to the corner, she's locking the rears too, so probably in need of a bit of a brake bias adjustment as well. And through the middle of the corner too, losing the rear end, drifting around the S's, keeping it off the fence rather impressively, but going for another slide. And if ever you want to see a wheel woman at work, here you go, Emily Jones, showing a fantastic display of car control right now to keep that thing off the fence. But those tyres have got to be very, very hot right now, because that car does not look right.
Absolutely. I was going to say, someone might have to remind her it's Watkins, Glen, it's not Tokyo, so might have to stop the drifting a bit. Oh, they're right sideways again. I think she's just having fun at this point. Might as well. Obviously quite confident to drift the car, so might as well have a bit of fun out there.
Well, she's a talented driver, isn't she? She was a competitor in the Supercar Z Series that ran last year. Oh damn, last year in 2020, that's right. And she did quite well on that. So she certainly has the talent. We know she's a very good driver. We see her at the front in V8 Scops as well, which, by the way, if you are a fan of V8 Scops and you haven't heard, the voting is open for the driver choice rounds of the 2020 V8 Scops season. If you head to the SimSpeed TV Facebook page, you can put down your vote on that one. If you are planning on running in that series, registrations will open up in the near future as well. I believe once voting closes for that, maybe before, who knows. But certainly keep your eye on the Facebook page. Even Shane known he helps run the damn series. But certainly keep your eye on the Facebook page, because that series is gearing up to get underway soon. And that is, I think, considered by many as the flagship series in Australian sim racing.
I think that's the greatest promotional line we have ever heard on this channel. That was brilliant. I loved it. You've got me excited. Like, I am keen now. I want to get involved. That's how much that worked. That was beautiful.
Let's get back on track. Martin Turner continuing to be harassed by Andrew Silsons, who was half a second quicker last time by, and is currently sitting 0.2 of a second adrift. Turner seems to have equalised some of the pace on this lap though, and those tyres probably going through some cycles as well. Every time you go for a little bit of a slide, you're going to overheat those tyres, and it will take a couple of corners to get them back to normal. That will allow the other car a bit of an advantage, and then vice versa. When they make a mistake, you get the advantage then. So not unusual to see these gaps ebb and flow over the course of the race. Does seem though that Turner is struggling for a bit of turn in that car, running a little bit wider than Silsons, then Slizzens through all of the corners, and you see it there, having to open up the entry, and Slizzens able to take a tighter exit through the corner. Simon, we've got a replay up on screen.
Ooh, Oh, we got Michael Schreier and Richard Larkins in this one. Oh, Richard's gone a bit wide. It's probably not going to help his run out of the carousel instead of running to the left-hander. Oh, he's got a beautiful run, straight on the brakes. Richard's not going to make it too hard for him. Clinical pass there for Michael Schreier. Very nicely done.
Speaking of announcements and things to look forward to, I won't reveal what it is yet, but we can say that if you're a fan of oval racing, keep your eyes peeled again on the SimSpeed social networks. It will be announced in the next few days, I can tell you that much, as to our plans in the oval scene for 2020. We got a big year coming up for us in that regard, and I'm looking forward to hopefully commentating that. I mean, if Jay lets me. Let's see how we go on this one. If I give better promo to Vert Scops, maybe we'll see how we go, but it certainly should be a good series, and it will be huge, and hopefully should have some big numbers too, so keep your eyes peeled for that one.
Huge or huge?
A huge.
Huge.
A massive.
Massive.
Big.
That's good. Absolute stonk on this. Is that a more appropriate term, right?
I mean, that term came from our director. You guys can't hear. So if he said no, then maybe so. Hey, we've got an interview. Here we go. Something to keep us occupied for now. Emily Jones, who is on track. Rightio. Emily, how you going out there?
I'm going in circles and also doing right turns. It's very fun.
Yeah, we've seen you going for a bit of a drift section out there. You know, this is Watkins, Glen, not Tokyo, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It's really easy to get sideways, this car, and it's very fun to get sideways. It's been a lot of fun, apart from that time when I almost killed 3 dudes at the start. That wasn't good.
Yeah, that first lap was a little bit hectic, but it seems to have certainly settled down a bit now. You happy just to roll around in 6th place here? You hoping someone up front has a bit of issue and you can maybe sneak a top 5?
I'd love for them to have an issue and just to cruise into a top 5, but I think it's unlikely at this point. Some of these drivers are very good in this car.
Grass.
You're also extremely active on the voice chat in here as well, so it's a good.
Through the bus stop, they got to keep their focus through there, and then into a very tricky section of the track. That car's sideways. Emily, straighten it up. Keep it on the track. Before you let you refocus on racing this very difficult car, please don't crash while we're talking to you. I feel very bad if you do. Are you going to keep doing this series for the next few weeks? We're going to see you back next time?
I think so, yeah. I would love to do the oval races. That's what I'm most excited.
Alright, well, we cannot wait to see you back next time. Simon, have you got any questions for Emily?
Oh, I'm just watching and just impressed with the amount of angle that we're getting through corners. I just want to keep watching. This is brilliant.
Yeah, I've got to say, you're doing an impressive job. I'd have put it in the fence about 20 times by now if that car was that sideways on me. You're not doing it intentionally, are you? Or is that car just gone?
I wasn't doing it intentionally. But sometimes you go in really hard into a corner and it's kind of like, well, I'm already sliding, might as well just continue sliding.
Yeah, why not? Why not? You got 7 seconds in front, you got 16 seconds behind. I think you can afford to have a little bit of fun out there. As Henry King tried to do some of the action that Emily's doing and got it horribly wrong and found 2 different fences in the process.
And Emily might have to open up a drift school and teach people how to drift these cars now.
Yes, it'll be cool. Virtual drifting school. VDS.
What about Virtual Motorsport Mentor? That's a company that just started up. If you want mentoring, go and check them out. Maybe Emily can do some coaching for them on some drift sessions. And you never know, that could become a big thing. Cheeky plug. we'll let you get back to it, Emily, and hopefully we'll see you back next week. And you have fun out there.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You too. She seems nice and relaxed. Meanwhile, probably a little bit less relaxed is Martin Turner, because Andrew Silsons is still right there and still not able to find a way by, but that blowtorch is being applied to the back of that number 8 machine.
Yeah, this has been just sitting here, simmering away for a while now. We've also got Braden that's in the background closing up as well, so move is definitely on here. Looks like Andreas is gonna get the run off the corner. He's gonna keep it there. Yes, he will. Braden's gonna jump in as well. Looks like he's keen. This is definitely not over for the moment. Braden trying to go around.
He cannot go around the outside of the final corner. Braden Boulos, come on, man. What are you doing? He's done it. He's not quite done it yet. He's going to go around the outside of one more corner, but in the braking zone, he makes that redundant and pulls ahead, and Boulos puts himself up into P4. And Andrew Silsons has momentarily got P3. But now he's going to have to watch out for Braden Boulos, and that was a horrible couple of corners. And Martin Turner is doing so well up there in 3rd, and now he finds himself at the back of the steel train in 5th.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you get that, getting that maneuver done to him, put him offline, it makes it very, very hard. Braden set that up. Braden set that up very, very nicely. Took a nice wide line as they came through. Managed to get on the outside. Definitely did very, very well to go around the outside out of the final corner. Gave him the optimal line. Obviously, when you have a tighter line through that corner, it's a bit harder to get the power down, a bit harder to get the run off. But being on the outside, you see, just obviously, as we saw, he got the much better run and has been able to capitalise on it. And as you can see here, he's definitely got the pace at the moment. He's closed that gap up already. He's going to be looking for a move at Andrus at the moment very soon. I think he's just coming off the corners beautifully. Even though just notice there, Andrus running a very wide, especially coming out of the corner. So he's definitely got the tyre life at the moment, does Braden. He's probably going to make this very easy.
Oh, well, sorry, I was getting caught up in the YouTube chat. Damn it, Dave, damn it, Jay. Yes, Boulos is there. He's right behind him. He's showing now why he is such a good driver. On the fringe of the NASCAR Series, I think give it a year. He definitely is a big contender to be there in 2021. He was a front runner for a few races in the Pro Series just gone, so he's got that talent. Probably a little bit underprepared for today's race. Probably a last-minute decision with Matt Danson. Those two are rarely seen anywhere without each other. A bit of a bromance going on there, I think. And Boulos will be desperate to get by Slizens and claw his way up to the back of Matt Danson. Those two can go tangoing off into the final few laps of the race together.
Yeah, this race between these two is definitely going to kick off in a second. His pace at the moment is really, really good. I think he's just going to wait until the right time comes. He's been very, very good at just capitalising on the mistakes, obviously. Just wasn't quite able to sort of hold that position, but he's just sitting there at the moment. Didn't look all that confident in those last couple of corners. Went a bit wide, wasn't able to sort of get the run off, but he's there, definitely menacing in the background. Maybe just keep the pressure there on Andrus, try and force him into a mistake. So see if he comes off here. Very good run off this corner. He's definitely getting a run off that corner much better than what Andrus is. Probably not enough to make an opportunity into the next corner, but if he keeps this up, he's just going to keep the pressure there, keep trying to set him up, just wait for the opportunity to make the pass.
And in terms of lap time, he is lapping quicker than Danson, so there is a possibility that he could get there. There is only 5 laps to go when they come across the line. He might just about run out of time. He certainly won't get to lead the race. Jake Byrne is still the fastest driver on track. But if he can set Slizers up here, he's set himself up for that run out of the corner, backs up the entry, focused on the exits, done a fantastic job of it, and Slizens is not going to go defensive. Boulos is going to switch to the inside, but how late on the brakes is the number 3 machine? Fantastic stuff there to keep that car ahead of Boulos as Michael Clark's got his car out of the way in the runoff of turn 1. And now Boulos is right on his back bumper through the S's, but there's no way through there. And what about into the bus stop? Is he bold enough to try that move? A little bit of slipstream down the back straightaway might put him close enough. Don't think you want to quite be trying that move with 5 laps to go, and he doesn't. He thinks better of it. Certainly looks the better of the 2 drivers right now, though, as the 3 goes Fusion and a slide and a good save to boot.
That's going to be a slowdown. That is definitely going to be a slowdown at that point. That is going to give the position straight away. There's that pressure we were talking about a bit earlier. Just had to keep the pressure there. Very surprised he held that position, Andrus, to turn 1. I thought that was job done. Very good job, as you can see. Just looks like he's just gone a bit too deep into the bus stop, trying to keep the pace up. Yep, understeer, straight across the grass. Got to give him credit for trying to hold that position. Like I said, in turn 1, he did a fantastic job in holding him off and keeping that position. But yeah, unfortunately, I know what's. Oh, and we've got Ryan off the track as well. He's going to pull it up. Oh, he pulls it up just in time. But unfortunately, it looks like he's disconnected.
That's one way to pull it up. Just hit the old F4 and escape. He has an old F4. He's still in the session, but he got out of that car quicker than we could even talk about it, really.
It's unfortunate to see it when that happens. Fortunately, mistakes happen, but
Emily Jones is in a lot of trouble at the moment. We were talking to her earlier, and she was having a bit of fun, just doing an old Tokyo drift. Her last lap time was a 1 minute 58.8. Jake Burton's doing 55.5s, and the car behind her is doing 57.7s. That's Michael Schreier. The gap is 6.6 seconds, but if she continues to drop off at the pace she is, that lap time was 2 minutes. 2 minutes and 36 milliseconds. So she's lapping quite badly at the moment. 3 seconds slower than Michael Schreier that lap. She's in real danger of losing out on the 6th position here. And that was a 15-second gap when we talked to her just a few laps ago.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of the Tokyo drift has caught up. Yeah, Michael Schreier just keeps chipping away at those times. Have a quick look at his lap times. He has been fairly consistent. He's just been recently, actually his last lap was probably his best lap by a decent margin. So definitely starting to close up. Yeah, you can see Emily's really struggling with that car at the moment. I think those tyres may actually be done. So it could be an easy target for Michael to get that 6th spot just before the end of this race.
Should give us something to keep us interested here as the laps continue to wind down, and we're almost there. And Schreier has gained 2 seconds from the bus stop to this point on the track. So even in half a lap, not even that, Michael Schreier finding more time than he knows what to do with. Was that a car in the gravel that I just saw?
Yep, yeah, that was definitely a car. I had to check for a second. I half thought that maybe it was Emily, but no, definitely it's just a lap car, just sort of struggling to pull it up for the corner and unfortunately spinning. But yeah, this is definitely going to result, or at the moment, potentially look at a loss of position for Emily, dropping back to 7th. But Michael's just, yeah, he's just catching so quickly at this point. Those tyres on Emily's car definitely look like they've had enough for today.
And yeah, Jamie Llewellyn got a bit of the Tokyo drift syndrome there, and showing us it's not so easy as Emily's making it seem to drift this car around this racetrack. 3 laps to go now on the board, and in the top half a dozen spots there is nothing happening at the moment. It's all steady as she goes with a 1 second advantage per lap for Jake Burton over Matt Jansen. It's 4.8 seconds total now. It's 7.8 back to Boulos, it's 10.2 back to Silverado. Turner's 11.7 back than these two. Emily Jones and Michael Schreier. 34-37 seconds adrift as Schreier bounces his way, winds his way through bus stop, and now around the long sweeping corner. That little piece of road to the right is where the NASCAR Series usually go when they're at Watkins, Ben, but using the boot here for this week. Of course, the real-life NASCAR season kicks off in a few weeks' time, and then all the open setup series will go to the official calendar, while the fix-it-ups will follow it for the most part. And we will probably be seeing the Cup version being used later on in the year as a result. And the gap in this race comes down to under a second now. Emily Jones, Michael Schreier. I don't think she's going to be able to hold him off, to be honest. I mean, he's been catching her at such an incredible rate. It seems unlikely.
Very unlikely. Just watch him in the braking zones. Michael was just gaining by a massive amount. Assuming at this point that, yeah, Emily just can't pull the car up, can't turn the car. Obviously with the rear tyres being shot at the moment, it's very, very hard to pull the car up in a straight line. So obviously you need to brake a bit earlier, turn in a bit earlier, unable to sort of keep the mid-corner pace up. So that's where Michael's gaining a lot of time at the moment. Watch him into turn one, and yeah, right there. Or Emily, bit sideways. And that's going to set it up perfectly for Michael. He just gets a nice run straight off the corner, up the hill. Going to say that Michael's got a very good run so far, not movement at all. Very clean up the hill. Emily just sliding around, just can't keep the car straight at all. Just fighting that thing every single inch of the way into the bus stop. Oh, not much difference there. Emily's doing a very good job to sort of keep the gap. But here into the carousel, how those tyres going to hold up? Sort of see they're both holding station at the moment. So as we go into the next left-hander under brakes, Michael just again catches up ever so slowly. As he come out, he's got a very good run off that corner. Very good run into the next right-hander. So just seems to just pacing himself a little bit. Obviously going to have the run eventually. Very good run out there. Yep, that's it. That's going to get it done. You've got a very, very good run off the corner. Now, there's a slow car in front. Is still going to go for the move. Yes, definitely. And job done. Emily just can't hold that position there. So job done for Michael. He goes up to 6th place.
And it was a little bit easier there for Michael Straight in the end. Jake Burton!
Now he's going to drift
also, he's caught some of the Tokyo Drift fever too. It would be really embarrassing if you were leading by such a substantial margin, started drifting around the track, and then put it in the fence, wouldn't it? It's something that I would probably be able to do. Madison Dowd has done it too in the past at this track, been leading the race, done some Tokyo Drift, and then fenced it, and lost the race as a result. It was out of the final corner as well.
Just to go back, we've got Michael Turner and Andrus fighting at the moment. Andrus made a big mistake coming out of the bus stop, so that battle is not over yet. The battle for 4th is not finished.
Big lunge into this hairpin up here, I reckon, from Martin Turner. He's got to be thinking about it. Oh, Burton nearly crashed then. Here we go, in. He's not close enough here. But Andrus Slizens needs to focus on the exit. He's a little bit wide at the moment. Might struggle to get the power down. He does get it down very nicely indeed. He's got probably just one more big overtaking opportunity to defend, because Turner's not close enough here. The final corner is going to be the only spot for Martin Turner, and he won't quite get close enough to do it, as Matt Danton has caught right up to Jake Burton in the process of this drift session on the final lap. But there is no worries at all for the man behind the wheel of the number 5 Wanda livery car, that Talladega Nights livery, propelling him to another commanding victory, this time from 8th on the grid. He had to work hard early, but in the end he gets the win by only 0.2 of a second, but that doesn't reflect the dominance he showed today. Matt Danton home in 2nd place, Boulos in 3rd, 4th place will go to Andrus Slizens. Martin Turner takes 5th, and Schreier is now 2 Tokyo drifting in 6th, as is Emily Jones in 7th. How has she still not spun that car?
Into the grass. Must have just scraped the wall just then. That was very, very close. I was just about to say the exact same thing. She's been sliding this thing around all night and has just kept it off the wall perfectly. Oh, it slides it off the final corner. Up straight into the tires weren't even going to make the start-finish line, so we'll just...
She's lost a spot to Michael Clark. Has she? No, Clark was a lap down, so she won't. But she will finish in 7th place as a result. Richard Larkins won't get there. He will finish in 8th and be the final car to cross the start-finish line. So let's go through our race results here at Watkins Glen International. Jake Burton took the victory from Matt Danson in 2nd place. Braden Boulos was home in 3rd. Ninja Slizens took 4th, and the top 5 was rounded out by Martin Turner, Michael Schreier in 6th, Emily Jones 7th, Richard Larkins, Michael Clark, Ryan Scholl. Rounding out that top 10, the whole field rounded up Jamie Llewellyn, Henry King, Robert Formwood, Cameron Dance, Carl Bowden, Simon. Some good battling throughout that race for a few different positions, but hopefully we see a few more numbers next week where we go to Rockingham. And that is a track that is very popular indeed among oval fans. A track not used in real-world NASCAR anymore. And it's a throwback to the past, immortalized forever in the iRacing service. Bring on the rock. That should be a great race. So what are your final thoughts for today, Simon?
Very good race by all. Had my bets on Burton, and they seem to have come through. Just once again, very clinical result. Just got out front and just controlled the race from there. Great to see Matt have a shot and try and sort of take the challenge to him. Yeah, through the field, some fantastic little battles going on. It's good to see just little packs just battle it out towards the end. Everyone gets to sort of have a race with someone and help everyone improve. So, yes, looking forward to the next round where a few more, hopefully, going back to the oval, we'll get a few more numbers back and see some really good racing there.
Yeah, hopefully guys like Dave Douglas get in the car and show us how it was done, sort of hanging out in the YouTube chat, mate. Love to have you there. But man, I want to see you on the track. Isaac, you too. So, let's get some more numbers up. Let's get this series going because oval cars are the brilliant racing. We love seeing some oval action on Simspeed. Good to have it back. We're going to have more of it. So make sure you like all the Simspeed social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch to stay up to date with all our future announcements and big stuff coming up. That will do us for tonight. And make sure you give us a like, subscribe to the channel, of course. And tomorrow night, the Porsche iRacing Cup, the qualifying series for the Porsche Super Cup on the iRacing Esports Network, covered by SimSpeeder TV, of course. And Monday night, the Supercar Strength of Field as well, plus plenty more in the coming weeks. So make sure you stay tuned. From myself, Ryan Jones, from Simon Mazzomo alongside me, and from Jay Kennedy behind the scenes, making snide comments along the way. But in our ears, thank you for tuning in. Good night. We'll see you next time.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction. He's got everything outside of both of them. Maloney.
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to him.
Oh my God. Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness. Half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go.
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?